And I'm back again. Welcome. It's so great to see you. I am here to talk to yet another fantastic, inspiring, incredibly encouraging speaker who is going to be presenting to us at the Future of the Health Professional Symposium. Today, I am so pleased to be able to bring to you yet another influential therapist who has chosen to specialize and dedicate her life to teaching us about grief. Now, I had Jill Johnson-Young here yesterday, who is also a very influential and smart person when it comes to talking about grief. So why would I have two people talking about the same subject in the same symposium? Well, the answer is quite simple. If you have been on the news for a moment, you will know that we have, as an international community, suffered a significant loss already today. So I have Debbie coming on to share with us what she thinks the most important things we can be doing to future-proof ourselves as health professionals. Now, I've got the little symbol telling me that it's adding Debbie, so I know that she's on her way, and I know that she's going to come into the conversation. So it's all going to start happening very soon. So if you're watching this live with us, could you give us a little cheerio? Hello, let us know you're here, because it is so much easier for us to picture you and speak to you. Otherwise, I have to sit here and picture you naked, and that's how I end up being so entertaining. Hey, Nam, so grateful to have you here today. Don't understand. Who knows? You know, it's raining here in Australia today. So, you know what? The internet may not be playing nicely with us. I've got to find Debbie again. Come on, Debbie. I know you're here. Looking forward to you coming on. Now, Debbie will be freaking out because, you know, she doesn't want to let anybody down, and she's got some really important stuff to say. So we'll just wait for her to come back. So this symposium I put together because as health professionals, we're actually not doing a very good job at looking after ourselves. Did you know that burnout has actually been something that's been researched and talked about since the 1970s? It's older than me. Not by much, but it's older than me. And I want to progress this conversation. Hey, Debbie, good to have you back. I'm going to approve you. I've got so much power here on Facebook. All right. So if we're not actually looking after ourselves and the world around us expects more and more and more of us, then how do we as health professionals get prepared for our future? And that is what this symposium is all about, and why I have asked people like Debbie to come and share with us. So Jazzy is here. Hey, Jazzy, so lovely to have you.
Hi, Jazzy.
Nam's here.
Hi,
it
Nam.
makes it so much easier. Oh, and Yvette's turned up today. That is excellent. So Debbie, thank you so much for being available. First off, I want just thank you for saying yes, for being a part of the symposium. So I'm really honored to have you in my world. Really, every time you speak, I listen. The presentation that you did for us in Hawaii has actually reignited my love of gardening.
Oh, good.
But it's also given me permission to use it as a way of managing my grief.
Yeah.
But that's not what we're talking about today. So Debbie, tell us a little bit about you. What's your credentials, your license, and how long have you been doing this work?
I've been doing this for a really long time. When you said burnout, and it's almost been around longer than you have, in the 70s, I'm like, oh my God, I feel really old now. Is because I've been doing this I've been licensed since 1995. I've been working with grief for really almost 30 years now. I'm in Calabasas. I'm in California. And my counseling center is in Calabasas. Yes, the same town that the Kardashians are in, and Will Smith, right? You know, so yeah. That we don't live in.
We work that, fair enough. I was just like, I want you guys to be Debbie the paparazzi now.
Yeah.
So that's interesting to know. So you've actually been working around this whole concept of death, dying, grief for 30 years.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
So
you know
it's
what?
kind of not going away, is it?
It's totally not going away. And you know, and I've been working professionally in the field in grief, but I've been a griever since I was at least 7 years old when my sister
Yeah.
died. Yeah, yeah. You know, is that we all are grievers, and I think
Mm-hmm.
when we as professionals can see that and acknowledge that and work through it, then oh man, we are uh, even more, really even more effective at working with
Absolutely.
grievers. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. And as Jill so eloquently helped us understand yesterday, death, dying, grief is not going away. Yet we as health
Oh,
professionals
hmm,
often feel incredibly ill-equipped to deal with these issues. So we just
yeah,
pretend they don't exist.
hmm,
We
yeah,
niche on something else like mums, new mums, or we niche on men and
hmm,
anger, or
hmm.
but forget that this is actually going to be something that turns up all the freaking time. Yeah.
Exactly. Because grief is
Yeah.
always underneath it. Always, no matter what the client presents with, no matter what they're struggling with,
Mm.
there's always been a loss, a change, a transition that they are having a hard time being able to negotiate and work through. Yeah, and
So
then it exacerbates depression, it exacerbates anxiety. You know,
yeah.
C.S. Lewis, when he wrote his book as Grief Observed, A Grief Observed, said, "I never knew that grief felt so much like fear."
Ooh, that's
Yeah,
interesting. And
yeah.
I know in my own personal experience, I didn't realize that grief felt so much like depression.
Oh, yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
And
You know,
and it was almost easier for people to tell me I was depressed because they felt
oh,
like
of
they could do
course.
something with that
Right.
rather than let's just acknowledge the fact that this is
Yeah.
grief.
Well, and
Wow, Debbie,
I
we went
actually,
deep fast here.
right. I actually
Sorry,
think
keep
that
going.
it's even the opposite is that we make it, if we call it, if we're able to identify it as grief, then it's much more of what I think is a wellness model rather than a medical model, you know. And then actually we do have a shitload more that we can do about it.
Yes.
Yeah,
Yes.
yeah.
Absolutely. And so I think there's a couple of things that have come out already, and I'll put some context to it, but grief is normal. Death,
Hmm.
dying, grief, it's normal. And we
Yeah,
can't ignore it or systematize it or positive psychologize it out
no,
of the human experience. We
right,
just can't.
right, no.
And it turns up all the time. So, but
Hmm.
it's not just turning up with the people that are in front of us, it's turning up in ourselves.
Absolutely, yes. And
But we've been but
go
we've
ahead.
become so good at medicalizing everything
Hmm.
that we've turned grief into a medical condition. And
Yes.
you just
Hmm.
flipped it on its head for us, going, well, if we approach a wellness model
Hmm.
and use this as a part of our human experience, suddenly we've got permission to grieve.
Yes, and then don't feel so crazy, because every single person that has come into our office in the last 30 years will say, you know, I feel like, you know, there's something wrong with me, because everyone else seems to be okay. Everyone else seems to be dealing with this okay. Everyone keeps telling me that, you know, it just takes time and I should be grateful, blah, 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 blah. And, and, and it's not, you know, if we just say, you know what, well, why don't you feel sad? Yeah,
Yep. So
yeah,
the
but we want to
implications
fix
for
it.
yes, we do want to fix it. We want you to
Yeah.
leave the room feeling better because that's what you came to me for
Hmm.
today. You came to
Hmm.
me as a health professional because you want
Right,
me to make you feel better, and I feel that very keenly. But I
right.
want to flip this conversation a little bit, Debbie, because I've asked you to speak into grief in us,
Hmm.
because the grief that
Hmm.
we don't acknowledge in us, and I'm not talking about spectacular grief,
Hmm.
I'm talking about the grief that can turn up with your burnout, or it can turn up with an
Hmm.
unsuccessful client, or the grief
Yep.
that can turn up when a client ghosts you, or the grief that
Hmm.
turns up when you just can't carry the burden of your clients anymore.
Exactly.
So if we don't start addressing this grief
Hmm.
in us, What do you see are the consequences of that? Like, what's going to happen to it?
Oh my gosh, we become really burned out. Is that we get numb, that we get jaded. I worked in a locked psych hospital for 15 years. Side conversation, that's where I met my husband. We both had keys. But there were so many people who had been in the helping profession for so long who were getting much more jaded. Is that we start becoming more sarcastic. When I was a special ed teacher, my first career in my 20s, is that I got burnt to a crisp because I was a griever. My sister, who died, would have been multiply handicapped, and so I went in helping other people without addressing my own broken heart, and became exhausted and drained, and thought, I needed to pour my whole life into saving somebody else. And there's this really wonderful quote. I hope that I get it right. One of my favorite writers is Steve Danziger, who's an EMDR trainer, and I just love him. And he wrote a book called Clinical Dharma, and he said, the life of a helping professional is a codependent nightmare waiting to happen.
Oh, awesome. Yay.
Yeah, because
marketing material, shall we?
Right, because we get in to try to help people, and then
yes.
I over the last couple of years during the pandemic in particular, I started a course on grieving and burnout, and what was really was so exciting to see and hear is in just 4 weeks is that people, all the professionals were talking about, like in week 2 or 3, like, oh, wait a minute. I think I've been grieving, and that hadn't been identified. It's like, oh, I've been depressed and I'm anxious, and that looks a lot like grief. And if we look at, when a client leaves, even when they're, they've done all their work and they're gone, is that there is still this loss. There are so many disappointments that we have, and so many unfinished conversations that we have just professionally that we don't get to be able to work through with our client because it's our stuff. Okay. And yet it affects the way that we can really be present.
This is such a great and such an important conversation. Thank you for being so willing to go so deep so quickly. To give a bit of a personal example in my life, and everybody knows I've gone through a lot of surgery and a lot of treatment in the last 2 years. And I was finding surgeons that I was going to let open me up was a bit of a big deal. But then when I found the reconstructive surgeon, and he's just been an incredible man, and he really helped me start to recover. Because, but that was before he even put anything in me. But when he told me I no longer needed to see him anymore, I wanted to burst into tears, not because I was like, free at last. It was like, oh my God, this man's not going to be in my life anymore.
Right. And that's grief.
That was, and I'm now wondering, because he's got such this incredible personal, like, this is the thing that he does. He goes along on the journey with you. He doesn't do stuff to you. He does stuff with you. I wonder how much he's walked away going, ooh, it's going to be hard to not have conversations with Joe or Mary or whoever else.
Yeah, or to find out what happens afterwards.
Yes,
right?
I know.
Yeah.
Oh. So one of the most powerful things, I have in the past done a lot of work in a medico-legal context. And I remember doing a very big assessment for this woman who had had a horrible experience with her employer. And it was before the courts. And I spent hours, like I get so immersed in doing this work, it just consumes me. And I just had to present my report, my findings. I didn't go to court. My reports stand on their own, and it got presented. And I don't find out what happens next.
Right. Right.
And
Yeah.
I still to this day, I'm going, damn it, I wish I knew what happened.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
this is what you're talking about. So how much of this have we got piling on top of
Oh
each
yeah.
other?
Yeah. And
Wow.
sometimes it's the good stuff. It's, did we get a chance to be able to tell that person how much that we were so proud of them, or that they inspired us, or thank you so much. And and often we don't, because we don't want to make them uncomfortable. And it's like, guess what? Then that adds up to all that unfinished business that we are carrying. I remember when my
Wow.
first, hi Katie, I remember my first client who had died. I actually was there at the hospital. He had AIDS. I was there with his family, and um, and on my way home, I stopped at a to make a phone call from a phone booth, because it was a long time ago.
That's what we
And
did. Yep.
yeah, and called my husband, called Mark, to tell him to let my next client know that I was just going to be a little late. And that's not what came out of my mouth. I got on the phone and I said, "Hi, honey, Joe died," and
Wow.
realized, oh my gosh, I'm a griever. This is a professional relationship, but I know I cannot do good work without getting my heart involved.
Oh,
Yeah.
Debi, so what you're sharing with us is we don't have to be the stoic white t-shirt, have the we're
No,
in
I don't think
service of our clients.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
in serving our clients, we've got to start getting better at recognizing this.
Absolutely. Yeah.
So during the symposium, when you come and you're presenting to us, what types of skills or knowledge can we expect to walk away with?
You know what? I think being able to recognize all of the subtlety of grief, being able to recognize the ways that we float out of the room when we're physically there, and the ways that we can get ourselves back. Yeah.
Great.
Yeah.
So I'd love to know from anyone watching, do you think like that would be good to know about? Do you think you'd like to become equipped with some skills and knowledge about knowing when you've just disappeared out of the room? And, instead of beating yourself up, well, this is what I would do, beat myself up and go and over function.
Right.
Because, oh my God, I've just let this person down. Everyone's going to think that I'm terrible because somebody's going to find out.
Right.
Because you can all read my mind. But learning to be compassionate with myself and gentle with myself and go, hey, this has touched something in me. I just need to park that over there, make sure I bring myself back to the room. But then I'm going to have to go and work out with Debi what this thing was and get some, some useful tools and skills and knowledge about myself. This is excellent. Okay.
I'm excited.
So I'm a little bit excited. So I want to ask you a couple of fun questions, if that's okay, because this is a pretty dense and heavy topic. So what was the very first paid job you ever had?
I worked summers for my dad. My dad had a construction company in Manhattan. And so during the summer I would commute in with him, and I'd answer phones and do kind of secretarial work, and my dad paid me for it.
Yay, Dad. High five, Dad. Dads can be awesome. They really can be awesome. So when you first started your career as a therapist, what used to intimidate you?
My first traineeship was at Valley Trauma Center, and it was specifically people who had been sexually abused, molested, assaulted. Okay. And I remember just being really scared of, am I going to say the wrong thing? Am I gonna, that was more intimidating, where were you going to break them? And I love that the founder of the center, Dr. Johanna Gallers, she died many years ago. Man, I just love her. And She was like, look, the people who are coming to you, they've already gone through the worst shit that they could go through. Okay. You can't break them more unless you're, unless you're screaming at them or having sex with them. Okay. But you're going to do that. Okay. And so, you can't break them. I also see this with my students. I teach over at Pepperdine, and over, I'll ask, so, have you talked to the client about, about this loss that they have, that the client has put in their intake, in the paperwork. And the answer is usually, well, you know what, I'm waiting to build rapport until they're more comfortable. And it's like, guess what? Or I'm waiting for them to bring it up. Guess what? They're not going to bring it up because they're waiting for you to bring it up. Okay? Because you're the professional and you need to know how to do that.
Yes.
Yeah. But I remember that used to really intimidate me. Yeah. It was like, oh, we just need to be, we just need to hold the space, and then hold the space because of our own discomfort feels like it's more of, well, I'm just listening. It's like, well, you got to do more than that. Yeah.
Oh, Debi.
Yeah.
I think I know. I feel like not in a bad way, but it's like there's some stuff I need to go back and think about and work on in my own stuff. Like when I say that I'm just holding space, like what am I actually just not wanting to acknowledge the elephant in the room?
Right. Right.
Yeah, I think that's really powerful.
Yeah. I think holding space, there's so much to holding space, but I think when we end up even unconsciously not wanting to go there, then we don't use all the other pieces of holding that space.
Absolutely. And we will interrupt. We will interrupt rapport. We can't actually develop it if we're guarded. It just doesn't happen. So Debi, we've got this fantastic symposium. It's starting on the 18th, 19th of September, depending on where you live in the world, because Australia does things first.
That's true.
Yay.
That's true.
But until then, if people want to connect with you, have you got somewhere that they can come and join conversation with you? Where's the best place for people to connect with you?
Yeah. So my website is Private Practice Grief. I created a Facebook group 4 years ago. Encouraged by my wonderful friend Katie Keats-May, by the way. And it is also called Private Practice Grief. And I did it because I wanted to be able to have a place for clinicians to come to find out more or talk about grief. And so I'm really, really excited because this week we now have more than 3,000 people in that group. We have 3,000 clinicians from all over the entire world. So Katie's been on this chat with us this morning. So thank you, Katie, for putting this thought into Debi's mind. And Alyssa, thank you so much for your comment this morning about, that you needed to hear this today. So I will encourage all of you to sign up for the symposium. There will be a link for you to get on the wait list so that as soon as we open the doors for tickets, that you will be there. There will be a free version. There will also be a small payment version. And they, but you will get access to all of the tools from the speakers if you come to the free versions. We just want to be able to get these messages out, help clinicians become better clinicians so that we can stay doing this work. Yeah. And I love this. I love that you've put this together, Jo. It's just
it's been a lot of learning, but a lot of fun. Thank you so much, everybody. We'll look forward to talking to you tomorrow when I get to speak to Kate Piper, who is our powerhouse. Holy good night. Wait till you hear what Kate has to share. So we'll see you tomorrow. Have a great day, everybody.
Goodbye.